the metaphor that I used for I am precious jewel of wisdom was kind of one of those magical moments. I'm impressed at how much clarity you had about your wisdom and reflecting often. You made a habit. I don't think us in the US here are very good about reflecting. Do we ever do that in school? How did we learn that? But I was in Dallas, Texas. I lived there for 12 years. And there was the first weekend of May, which we just passed, they had a May fair around the Cowboy Stadium. And I went kind of late because I remember it being Sunday afternoon, but way back in the back corner was this tent of a guy who made rings. I forget the name of Trisko Rings is what it was. And he was a geometry teacher turned jeweler. Well, I love unique things and people are pretty unique. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But he had what he called stackables. And when I put his rings on my finger, something moved in my gut. What happened? I took them off and put them back on, and it moved again. I was bewildered. I was shocked. What just happened? And I slowly walked away, and on my dream board is some Trisko rings. And
I have to ask, were the Trisko rings on your board before you were at the fair?
I'd never heard of this guy before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just one of those unique moments, and uniqueness is so precious to me. But later in my career, I used those rings as to describe how I contributed to my teammates and my job. The value, the brilliance, the quality, the reliability. I described myself as representing rings. Well, so when it came to writing our essence statement, our inner spark, I decided to use those rings again. And so it's kind of a little bit presumptuous, but I am precious. Who says where? Well, I do. I say I'm precious. I am living that model life for others. And I'm starting just in the last 3-4 months realizing what a model I am, because I'm pretty healthy, even without kids or a husband. And, life is pretty good, but precious jewel. So the rings are the jewel. And I've always loved wisdom. I like to read books and copy down nuggets of wisdom that I can share with people, because that's basically what I do on my blogs. Like, here's one for in retirement, you're the boss now that nobody tells us. It's something that's been missing from our education. Let's talk about self-care. Taking care of yourself takes care of more than yourself. That's the sweet spot. And that I picked up from Matthew McConaughey. And taking care of yourself is like putting on your oxygen on the airplane before you put it on your children. So that's how important loving yourself is. When you love yourself, you're also taking care of your family and your friends and making the world a better place. The metaphor, I worked with a lady in Tennessee that used a maple tree that was kind of special to her as she was growing up. And so she described herself as the big leaves and the strong trunk and the beauty and the shade that she added to the world because of who she was.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, now I've got to ask about the art blocks. Do you sell these or how?
I do. They haven't sold a lot on, but I do have a store on Etsy called Quilted Petunia. I love growing petunias and geraniums on my patio here. And if you wonder what you should be doing in retirement, you don't have any idea where to start. Well, this is a simple little baby step. Do what you did in your career for charity. So if you were a pilot and you're not flying airplanes for, commercial, well, find some products or people who need delivering someplace. If you're being counted, find somebody who needs some accounting done.
Oh, that's awesome. That's using the God-given skills that you have and using them in a different way. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing that with us.